Hi everybody, it's HG10 here again. Welcome to episode 2. Obviously if you've seen the first episode you'll know that I actually finished that halfway through where we were, so I thought I'd just jump in and do a bit of an intro before the episode gets underway, just to sort of tell you about where we're up to. So in this episode we're obviously going to be, or you're going to see me, cutting and baling, well, cutting and rowing the grass fields that we've got. And then a little bit later, which I've not done yet, and we will do together later in the episode, we're going to look at getting the grass baled up and made into silage bales. So we're going to do that today shortly. But just in the meantime, before we get started, I thought I'd just jump on and just show you a couple of tweaks I've made to what we own. Because I realised when I was looking at the map that in terms of arable fields, and let's face it, at the moment, the game and the state it is, arable is really the only sort of feasible thing you can do at the moment until animals and the grazing and all that aspect and stuff is actually fixed. So I realised we didn't actually have many arable fields, so I have been and added the field that you get as standard in the first playthrough of Calmsden. I suppose the easiest way to show you is actually on the map. So this one here, so field 7, we have that too, which I basically added it in as it was in a harvested state and needs to be worked. So we've not gained any extra yield, we haven't harvested it ourselves, it's literally just already been cut and needs to be limed and drilled and everything like the other fields as well. So it's just some extra land for us to work, bit of extra stuff to do, it should be good fun too. So that is that. Obviously field 5 we did together in the first episode. We've got to work on field 2 and then we have our grass field. So this is the one we're going to be baling up today, and then this one we're going to cut at some point as well, and we'll probably do more silage bales in that. We'll keep a few again for overwinter, but I am going to sell some of those because it will give us some extra cash that we badly need. And then we might do some hay in these bottom fields too. So plenty of stuff to be getting on with. And then I think, depending on how much money we make from harvesting things, we'll look into buying this field, see how we can, increase our increasing our profits, so we can again just start to expand out and hopefully get some bigger and better fields as we go along. Like field 11, I think would be a good sort of next bigger field to get to. Other things, so in terms of the crop calendar, so this looks the same as the standard game, but I did find there's a UK crop calendar mod that somebody's made which allows you to plant barley and things, I think in the spring. Now, from what I can see, I've added it all incorrectly. It's not changed the crop calendar here though physically, but I assume that's because it's only done in the XMLs in terms of how the crop can be harvested and drilled and all that sort of stuff. But we can check that out when we come to do it. It'll be a good test, to be fair, when we look later on. And I think that's everything so far. Yeah, I don't think we've done anything else since we chatted. So what I'll do now is I'll let you guys kind of crack on. You can see the cutting and stuff that we did last time. And then I will then join you a bit later on when we take the baler across and start wrapping. So I'll catch you in a bit. Now here we are again, everybody. We've just picked up the mower and in the John Deere 7810. Now I must admit, I'm not sure how we'll get on power wise, because I think in combo the rear and front mower for this is probably going to need about 200 horsepower, 210 horsepower, and I think the 7810 is 180, but it is a flat field, so we might be okay. We'll give it a go anyway. Right, can we fit in? Try and get ourselves around. Just. Right. Close the gate. And here we go. Nope. There. Perfect. Right, let's have a look at this then. So we want front mower, unfold, rear mower, unfold. Start that up. Same on the front. And lower that down. And let's cut the grass. Well, we seem to be doing okay so far. Now the first thing I notice here is just the lighting. So the lighting as you go out into the dappled sunlight under the trees and the shadows, that is a huge improvement over the last game. I mean, that really is it. Those shadows and that lighting, they look great. They really do. And also, it's nice to see the cut grass texture. That looks really nice. So like, oh, there you go. We're struggling a little bit going up the hill here with these two on. Come on, John Deere, you can make it. Just get to the top here. But yeah, the cut grass texture, it looks really nice. That lighter colour as well as you get to the sort of, you know, the sort of stem of the plant that doesn't get the sunlight underneath the top. It gets that yellowy kind of light greeny colour. Yeah, that looks really, really good. That's a massive improvement over last time. That looks really nice. Yeah. What does life come to when you get excited about cut grass, eh? But I think that looks great. So yeah, we're going to cut this up, and then what we'll do is we'll come back. We'll bring the row it up, and then we'll make some silage bales, get them fermenting, and then at least we've got something to give to the cattle. And yeah, and then we can start to feed them and stuff. The important thing to know is that, you know, in base game, if you don't feed your animals straight away, there aren't really any penalties. So you know they don't die. They don't produce as heavily, or their productivity goes down, is how they kind of call it in game. So I'm just going to take advantage of the fact that at the moment, you know, there's no, you know, we're not going to lose any animals if we don't give them any bales and things. But we'll get that to them as soon as possible, so at least we've got that done. The other thing I believe is, in terms of field prep and things, there is that field next door, which is, or was, I think, a barley field next door to this one up there, and as you can see, it's sort of already harvested. We need to do some work on that. Now, I do want to plough it, but that being said, I don't really want to plough any fields unless we've got something to plough in. So ideally I'd like to, you know, put manure on that, plough the manure in, or, you know, perhaps whether if it was slurry or something, and then plough the slurry into the field. I mean, I know you don't always have to do that, but it feels like if we're ploughing, at least we're putting something back into the ground. If it isn't, then we'll probably just direct drill in, and then obviously we can use, you know, liquid fert later on. So we'll have to think about what we want to do with that one, and also now looking at that crop calendar, I need to think about, well, when can I put crops into the ground, and I need to remember that not all crops, well, cereal crops that is, can be done kind of, you know, spring drilled and winter drilled. So that is something to consider too. So we'll have a think about that. So what I'll do is I'll just get the rest of this field cut, and then what we'll do is when I've done that, we can jump back in and see where we're going from there. So I'll just put on a bit of a montage, and you can enjoy the grass being cut. So I will catch you all in a bit. So I just got that done, and like I say, I mean, I sound a bit crazy, but I think that cut grass taste is great. It looks really, really good. Just that lightness of colour, and even the little brown bits of dirt, you know, where it's gone a bit close and things. I mean, I don't know if that's intentional or just a graphic bug, but I think it looks really, really good. Really good. And yeah, like I say, that you can really tell when you're going under the dappled lighting underneath the trees. That's where these new shadows and the new lighting really comes in. It looks great. It really does. Right. Let's get back to the farm. And we will go and get the row on the back of the Ford and row this lot up. Hello again, everybody. So it's now a few days later, again in real life. Oh, I forgot I left that there. Hopefully we should be able to get through. Yeah, it's a few days later again in real life now, since I was on. And I thought I would just get cracking back with this baling. So in the sort of earlier in the video, you just saw me doing all of the cutting, and then we rode it up. So we're just going to go and bale it up now and make ourselves some round silage bales. So yeah, so I thought this was just a perfect opportunity just to come in and sort of have a bit of a chat again, really. So obviously episode 1 is now live on YouTube and has been up for a couple of days. Firstly, I just wanted to say, really, just a kind of a big thank you to everybody, really. From what I can see, you know, well, I say from what I can see, for some reason that video seemed to do really, really well. It's had the most amount of views of any video I've ever done before, certainly. And yeah, just thanks to everybody that's watched it. Thanks to everybody who's given me a like. All those likes and comments, they really, really help out the channel and push the videos and things. So I do really appreciate that. I'm just glad that, you know, a few people have enjoyed what they were seeing. And let's just get in this field. Are we wide enough? Oh, just. These shadows are great, aren't they? Okay, let's just close the gate again. Look at that. See, that it's that little stuff in it. You know, the deformation as you go through the gate on the mud there from the tractor and the baler. I think that's great. I think it's really good. Okay. So yeah, so sorry, as I was saying, yeah, episode 1, it seemed to do really, really well. And I just wanted to say a big thanks to everybody who watched it, viewed, commented, gave me a like. Really, really appreciate it. And a big hello to all you new subscribers. I think when I put that video out, I was at 298, and now I'm just over 400. So yeah, thanks very much. I'm just glad you like what you saw, really. So without further ado, let's get the baling done. I'm gonna, before I do another time-lapse, I thought we'd have a bit of a chat while I do this, and we'll just talk through next steps. Now I think, yeah, we've got round bale in there, we've got bale wrap in there, so we're good. Here we go. This is my first time baling in FS25. Oh, this map. Just, oh, look at the lighting. Oh, it's great, isn't it? Oh, look at that. You see, I always knew, like, as soon as this map came from Oxy, I knew we were going to be onto a winner. And yeah, I am loving this so far. Oh, hang on a minute, we need to put on automatic drop, don't we? Okay, so we want that on to automatic. Perfect. Let's get the next one baled. Yeah, so I, you know, it looks great. I think it's brilliant. And like I say, you know, little things like the cut grass texture there, I think it looks great. It looks really good. I did have a cheeky look at converting my 8210 mod that I was using in FS22 into FS25. I did have a quick look to see if I could do it. It kind of worked, and I can see that it's possible, but it's going to take somebody with far more time on their hands than me to do that. So we'll just wait and see what turns up in the next months and things going on into the game, and you never know, I might be able to get it sorted myself at some point. We shall see. So yeah. The other thing I wanted to try and, well, I say try, the thing I wanted to talk about was plans kind of for those arable fields. So we spoke earlier on about kind of, we know that kind of animals at the moment in game, you know, they're not where they need to be in terms of what we can do with them. They're not grazing properly yet, they're not producing manure, etc, etc, etc. So I thought, when I said before, I added that extra arable field in, so it gives us something to focus on and kind of give us plenty to do while we're waiting for animals to kind of get sorted out, which hopefully, with the news that the patch from Giants should be coming out this week, it should be sooner rather than later, which is great to hear. So yeah, so I thought the first things we need to do, and we'll probably end up doing it in the next video, I would imagine, because again, I'm keen not to let these videos run on too long. I think 45 minutes tops is ideal, really, so that's the plan I'm going to sort of go with. So yeah, one of the things I want to get sorted in that next video is going to be getting those fields prepped. So I've decided, in terms of getting them lined, I am going to hire in contractors to do that, which is obviously going to cost us a bit of money, because it means we're going to need to lease the gear from the shop, and we're going to need to pay them a wage to do the job. I'm happy to take that hit, because the other thing I've got planned here is, we know there's a patch coming out for the game, hopefully sometime this week, Giants are saying. I also know that Oxy is planning on releasing an update for the map at some point very soon, just to sort of iron out a few glitches and bugs that have been spotted around the map. So when we do that, he has said that a save game may not be needed, but it could be recommended. So I thought, rather than take the risk, then we could just, in the meantime, we can sell the OSR that we've already got in the silo sooner rather than later. It means we're not having to spawn any you know, any OSR in while it's not too easy to do so, because we have to use the console at the moment. Rather, we haven't got any easy dev control mod, for example, so we've got to use the console to do it. It's not too much of an issue, but it can be a bit of a faff. So I just thought, you know what, sell the OSR that we've got currently sooner rather than later, and again we can use that money to put towards the contractors coming in and getting the, I think it's 3, isn't it? The 3 arable fields. Let's just have a quick check. So we've got that one, and that one. Yeah, so we want to get the contractors in, and I reckon we'll get all 3 of those limed by the contractors. I am also going to cut the big grass field opposite the cow farm. Cut that at some point too, and work silage bales from that. I think my plan at the moment is the silage bales we produce in this field we will keep and use for food, and the others from that big grass field will probably sell for profit at the moment, because again that gets us a bit more cash too. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but who knows, I might change my mind. If anybody's got any other suggestions as well, please do let me know. Happy to hear them, really. Other things we need to do, so obviously we know that manure and things aren't currently being produced by the cows. I'm not so sure about slurry, but I know the pasture they're in at the moment won't let them produce slurry. But with that being the case, I still like to get some slurry on these grass fields when they're cut. So I think there's a mod, and I'll need to search for it. But yeah, I think there's a mod for buying slurry from like a slurry buying point, and manure, I think. So I was thinking I might get that, add it into the save game, and we'll set it up at the animal dealer, so we can drive to the animal dealer and go and buy some slurry from them, put that onto our fields. That's my thinking at the minute. Keeps us going, tides us over until our own animals are producing what they need to be producing, really. So that is my plan with that. Other things I wanted to talk about really are, I guess this upcoming patch. So Giants have kind of, I saw the update, I think it was late last week, saying, you know, hanging tight there guys, the patch is incoming, we're working on it. And there was a bit of stuff in there, you know, they were sort of doing like frequently asked questions around, you know, why do patches take so long, and you know, etc, etc, lots of bits and pieces in there. And I was just having to think about this before, and I thought, you know, because I've not been quite vocal on here, but I have my own thoughts about the whole situation. I think for me, it's where Giants, I think, may have potentially gone a little bit astray with this release. I mean, they've produced another fantastic game. You know, you can tell by looking at it, it looks great, and it's going to be brilliant when it's working, and that's the issue, isn't it? You know, I know, we all know that games these days, they get released and they need patching to sort themselves out and work. But it does feel like there's been a hell of a lot of things that, when this game was released, should probably have been working from the get-go. You expect patches to cover things like the odd glitch and the odd bug, but there's been lots of things that just seem to be completely broken. I don't know, that's just my thoughts on it. And I think, again, you expect that sometimes, and we know that patches come in and they get sorted eventually, and that is great. I think the big thing where I think Giants have let people down this time, it seems to be just a bit of a lack of communication in some respects. You know, it's taken this long since the game came out in November to even sort of acknowledge that yes, we know there's improvements that need to be made and there's a patch coming. Up until that point, nobody's really heard anything. They kind of knew that fixes might be implemented at some point, but yeah, I think they just need to get a bit better at kind of saying to people, don't worry, we know there's problems, these patches do take time to do, but we're on it, and here's what we plan to fix, you know. Or even just acknowledging, you know, look, we know that these items in the game aren't currently working, or these ones, you know, they're not working as we want them to be, don't worry, here's our plans. There doesn't seem to be much in the way of kind of open communication with players, and that for me is, if you can get that right, I think people will probably be more, you know, comfortable in having that wait time to get things sorted. That's my thoughts anyway. You know, you guys might think differently. You might think, well, no, you know, it's not on at all to have it this way. But yeah, I just think, you know, we know that things, you know, take time to get sorted and sort properly. Of course, we appreciate all of that. Things take time to do them right. As I say, it's just that. But how do you keep people informed and communicated to with what the plan is in the meantime? That's the issue there. Anyway, enough kind of ranting and moaning. We know that patch is coming, hopefully this week. So yeah, a lot of those issues that we currently have should hopefully be fixed, which will be great. Yeah. So, another thing I was just thinking about before, actually. Does anybody know who's using Courseplay out there? You can see, let me just stop the tractor. If I go to here, this used to pop up in FS22, and I managed to find a way to get rid of it. And I can't for the life of me remember how to do it. If anybody knows how to get rid of that bar, please let me know in the comments, because it's just really annoying. And I've completely forgotten how to do it. So that would be one thing, if people can help. The other thing I wanted to say was, I'm just nattering away now, and I hope people don't mind. But yeah, since in that first episode, I felt a bit rusty in terms of making videos. It had been a fair few months since I've done anything like this, and that coupled with kind of newborn baby brain, I felt sometimes I was a bit rusty and a little bit I don't know, just kind of not on form, shall we say. So hopefully this time around you're thinking I'm hopefully firing on a few more cylinders, which is what I want to be doing. And it's also that thing is like, you know, again, I'm used to making Castle Rig, which in itself was kind of more of a role play, I suppose. And with that, there was less just chatting. This is my first proper ever kind of just let's play of the game. And I guess I'm just conscious that, you know, I hope people just don't think I'm whittering on and talking rubbish. Because you're essentially just, you know, sat here talking to a computer screen, aren't you? But I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Story of my life. Anyway, how are we doing there? So we've got 19 bales so far from this field. That's pretty decent. That's good. I think what we will do is I will jump out now and just get the rest of this field sorted. We'll put it on a time lapse, bit of music, you can watch me get it sorted, and then once it's done we'll have a bit of a chat about next steps and what we plan to do next. So I will catch you all in a bit. Cheers guys. Well, there we go, everybody. We've got all those sorted now. So, not done so bad in this field, actually. To be fair, off this one field we've cut, and again, we didn't put any fur or anything in here. You know, this is all kind of well, just as it comes when you start the save. But we've managed to get 27 bales off this field, which I'm pretty pleased with, to be fair. That's a decent amount. Now, with it being base game, I'm not sure how much the cows are going to eat. So that'll be interesting to find out. Hopefully 27 bales should do us a fair amount of time, I think, with base game, because they don't tend to eat loads. So yeah, so the next job is going to be collecting all these up and getting them back to the farm and stacking them up. So that'll be fun to do. Anyway, let's get the tractor and the baler back to the farm. I think I'll probably leave them actually down at the cow farm, because I know I'm going to cut that bigger field and get those sorted at some point too. So yeah, I will catch you back at the farm in a bit. Here we are back again, and as you can see, we are not at the cow farm, and that is because I thought, while we're in the baling mood, why don't we get this field baled up? It would make sense, wouldn't it? So I am going to reset that bale counter when I can remember how to do it. Right, I found it. It is Alt X. There you go, 0. So yeah, I thought, while we're in the baling mood, let's get this baled up and see how many round straw bales we get off this field. Now, I have got, well, actually, in terms of loading these up, I am going to do some of them manually, but I'm going to set myself a number where if we've got a higher amount of bales in a field that we've got off that's higher than a certain number, then we'll move to auto load. I haven't any thoughts on what that number should be yet. My thoughts are maybe if it is over 30. But let me know what you think. What would you suggest? That if we've got a number of bales on a field that's over X number, let's say, then we'll use auto load. What number do you think it should be? And if you say something like 100, I'm not going to do that, because that's insane. So, but yeah, if you think there's a number we should go with, then let's go with that. So, I am going to do this field now. We'll go straight to a time lapse, bit of music, get it done, and yeah, take bets on how many bales you think there are, and let's see who gets the closest at the end. Right, here we go. Right, so we've just finished this field. Now, as you can see, there is a heck of a lot of bales out there, and it took a fair amount of time as well. So I've not seen how many bales we've done in this one field. I asked you guys to take a guess as well, see what you think. I'm gonna say 49. Have all of your guesses ready. Comment in the video as well, see what you thought it might be. But let's press F1 and find out what it actually was. 65 bales off this one field. Crikey. Well, that's definitely going to be an auto load trailer jobby, I think. No matter what number you guys come up with, I think 65 is more than enough to use auto load for getting them in. Right, so with that being said, as you can see, it started to go into evening as well. It's a, you know, evening kind of light here on in August, so like a nice summer evening. And it is coming to the end of our first working day back on Calmsden. And wow, I am absolutely loving this. Absolutely loving it. Still a few bits and pieces to do. I mean, things like the, you know, the lights here. I think the gamma or the reflections or whatever it may be. I mean, there you go. On that fuel tank, it almost makes the fuel tank white look quite right to me. Things like that might need looking at in the future, but you know what? On the whole, overall, it's great. It's really good. I'm loving it. I'm sure there'll be other things I find at some point that will frustrate me, but for now, it is great. And with that, as we park that in here, I am going to say goodbye on video 2, or episode 2. At the end of our first working day back on Calmsden. I'm going to lay up that combine off camera in a minute. We'll go and put that back in the shed behind near the silo, I think. And yeah, look at that. That is a lovely, soft evening light. Birds singing. Just great. Shame about that flipping course flow sign, isn't it? If anybody does know how to get rid of that for me, please do let me know. I need to get rid of that. So I'm going to leave it there. In the next video, we're going to be looking at getting the big grass field near the cow field cut. We'll get that baled up, made into silage bales. We will then collect all the bales in. So these, the silage bales we've already done, and the silage bales out the big fields. We'll bring all of those in, sort that all out, and then the next job will be fertilizing both those grass fields before we get into sort of late autumn, early winter. We want to get that done before it starts to get cold. And then weather dependent, I think I'm going to get contractors in around about, I mean, it all depends really, but no later than December. Hopefully November, October, November time to come and lime all of our arable fields, and then we can start getting drilling and things for next year's crop. So that will all be in the coming episodes. So thanks everybody again for watching. As I say, hello to all of you new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. I do appreciate it. And to everybody who liked that previous video, it really means a lot. And if you've enjoyed this video, again, and you don't really want to subscribe because you're not that interested in the content, but you like this video in particular, please do give me the video a like, because it helps the rest of the channel out, pushes it out in the way that that YouTube algorithm seems to work. So yeah, thanks again guys, and I will speak to you all soon. Bye for now.